Welcome back. Again, my name is Professor Thor Buttocks, and this is my Big 10 class. I've had two classes so far on Heisman and Top 25 rankings, as well as an ACC class. If you have not seen those classes, go check them out. The ACC class will be very similar to today's class, seeing as it was also earlier this morning. Or if you have not seen the Heisman and Top 25 class, go check that out. It'd be very helpful for you to act smart among those of your friends that don't watch college football. So, Big 10, Week 3. Here's what we know so far. Iowa's good. Rutgers sucks. Actually, Rutgers isn't horrible. But yes, very simplified. That is the Big 10 right there. We will go over the rest of the teams, at least that are playing this week. Fortunately, no Wisconsin, but that's all right. I couldn't watch anyway. So, got all 12 games here, going from worst down to first. I will give you the correct answers to every game this week. Starting off, Kent State at Iowa. We were over this. Iowa is good. Kent State is not good. Delaware is not good. Neither is Rutgers, but Rutgers is slightly better. Screw this. Didn't want to have to use the same color, but only two markers I got. Rutgers, and we'll recircle Iowa for the heck of it. Rutgers and Iowa winning their games versus two not good opponents. Next, we got Northern Illinois at Michigan. Again, Michigan's nothing special, top 25 worthy, but outside of that, nothing fantastic. Just a simple top 25 going against Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois ain't nothing yet. So, well, actually, they were something in 2013. But, So apparently, according to me, no, never wrong, Northern Illinois playing Michigan again. This time, I think Northern Illinois is going to take the win. My apologies. Should not have been up there twice. I just missed it. That is my bad. Let me get rid of this real quick. Now we got a nice big hole right there. I know what to do with that. Board never lies, okay? It means you need to do it. Or well, I guess. There we go. Now you got to do it. Anyway, we got two repeats from the earlier class today. Northwestern at Duke, Michigan State at Miami. Big 10 goes 1-1, as does the SEC, surprisingly, with the one win coming from Northwestern beating Duke. The loss for the Big 10 coming when Miami will beat Michigan State. The Michigan State-Miami game is more interesting to me than Northwestern-Duke, but still a game where I think Miami is just the better team, so they will end up winning. Okay, one more good team against a bad team. Ohio State will bounce back, beat Tulsa. But don't be surprised if one of these two things happens. Tulsa either gets a whole lot of rushing yards, because apparently that works against Ohio State, or they get absolutely no rushing yards, depending on how good of a coach Ryan Day actually is. So there's the first 6 games. Them's the boring ones. Also, the biggest of important ones right there, dead in between the first and second quarter of these games. But now we get into some better ones, some worth actually talking about, including this Nebraska versus Oklahoma game. Do not get me wrong. By no means do I think it will be a good game. It's just worth talking about a little bit. You got two great quarterbacks in Adrian Martinez and Spencer Rattler, and it's a rivalry game. So yes, anything can happen in a rivalry game, except for Nebraska beating Oklahoma. I do think that Adrian Martinez will do everything he can to help his team win. However, I do believe this will be Scott Frost's last game as Nebraska moves on from him and that big mistake. So, there we go. Moving on. Purdue at Notre Dame. Purdue is one of the better unranked teams in my opinion, and Notre Dame is one of the worst in the top 10. In fact, I have them at number 10. So, big surprise there. Notre Dame is still the better team, and I do think they'll win at home. However, if Purdue goes out and wins, there's a chance that they can. Notre Dame's going to be down. They're going to be, after 2 uninspiring wins and then a loss to Purdue, or even just another uninspiring win. Granted, a win's a win, but I like Jack Cohn and everything. I will give them the win over Purdue. Thought about it for a little bit, but again, overall, they're just a better team than Purdue is, but Notre Dame pulling out the win there. Minnesota at Colorado, probably one of the most even matchups this week. Colorado coming off a very good game. Well played game on their part, at least defensively, against Texas A&M. It's 13-7, 10-7, whatever it was. I think they go out and they win this game. A Mohamed Ibrahim-led Minnesota, then we'll have some talks. In fact, Minnesota would probably win then. But no Mohamed Ibrahim, no Minnesota win. That's kind of how this works in close games. Especially on the road, give me Colorado over Minnesota. Maryland versus Illinois. Illinois had a great first week win, a bad second week loss. So they're not winning. It's going to be Maryland and the better Tagovailoa. That's not true too, is better. But Talia Tagovailoa looking pretty good. He was in my Heisman watch, not the class, but before that he was someone I considered for that. Ended up coming a little bit short, but can bounce back. Well, not necessarily bounce back. Keep bouncing up with the dominant win over Illinois. Leaves us with 2 games left. Think pretty clearly the 2 best games this week. We have Cincinnati at Indiana, Auburn at Penn State. Cincinnati, Indiana seemed a lot better in the offseason than it does now. Indiana kind of got their butts handed to them by Iowa. And Cincinnati, I think, is very similar on that level to Iowa, so give me Cincinnati to beat Indiana. I like Michael Penix. I love what Indiana did last year, but I don't like them this year. They're not a good team this year. They're going to lose to a team that is good. Hopefully Cincinnati finally gains some respect. Get them moving up in the rankings. So this leaves us 1 game left this week. Auburn versus Penn State, top 25 matchup. And I'm going to go Penn State. A little anticlimactic there. This is Auburn's first real test of the season. If Auburn wins this, then we got some real talks in the SEC. That conference will be looking pretty dang good. But go ahead and give me Penn State. I think they will end up in the top 10 after this week, after this win against Auburn and Notre Dame's shaky game versus Purdue. But Penn State, I watched their game against Wisconsin. It made me mad. Penn State's looking like what we expected Penn State to be last year. That's what they're looking like this year. They're actually holding up to expectations. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a great game. I doubt it's gonna be a whiteout. It might be. But yes, I do have Penn State going ahead and beating Auburn to end up in this week for the Big 10. Thank you all for coming watching this. If you enjoyed it, not that hard, or hit the like button. And I will have a class on the Big 12 here coming up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all very much. See you then.